So the goal and the purpose of today's video is to keep the golf swing super simple. I'm going to give you some great information here, some really simple drills that you can do to improve your golf swing and kind of get back to basics to get you heading towards the season in the right fashion. We're going to cover setup, we're going to cover backswing, something on the downswing, and then something to do with the whole golf swing motion. So we're going to get rid of the golf club to begin with because we're going to talk posture. Now, for posture, we really want to tap into your natural ability. I'm sure you've all got loads of natural ability. If we can tap into it, that's going to be great. So what I'd love you to do is kind of position your feet around the golf ball. It really doesn't matter if you're not quite the right distance from the ball, shoulder width apart, and just stand and let your arms hang fairly naturally. Now you can see that as I stand naturally, my arms hang against my body. We need some room in the golf swing. We need some space that we can generate some speed. So as I start to tip out over the golf ball, you'll notice that as long as I keep my arms incredibly relaxed, as I push my hips back and my upper body forwards, my arms start to move away from my body, as you can see there. So in terms of how we get into our posture, I want you to take this nice neutral position. Back is nice and straight. You're going to keep your back straight, push your hips back, head forward, and let your arms fall around about a hand's width from your legs, and hopefully you can see that there. Now from that position I simply add a little bit of knee flex, and there is my posture. It can be, and it should be, as simple as that. Now I haven't got a golf club, which does make things a little easier, but this is a great exercise that you can practice at home. Just standing here, hips back, head forwards, let the arms fall into some space, add a little bit of knee flex, hands go together, and that would be your posture. Now we can do that with the golf club. There's nothing to stop us bringing the golf club in and doing the same little exercise. So I'm going to rest the golf club against my legs, arms as relaxed as I can, hips back, head forward, my arms fall into the space, add a little bit of knee flex, hold the golf club, and you can see that I wasn't quite the right distance from the golf ball, but I can now just shuffle in. So that little exercise is going to help you achieve a great posture, but it's also going to help you establish what is the correct distance that you should be stood from the ball. A question that often crops up, and it can creep. If you're the right distance away from it today, doesn't mean that you will be 4, 5, 6 months down the line, so it's always worth checking this. Now, provided we can do those things, we should be in this really nice posture where our arms are hanging freely and we're nicely in balance, and I should feel that the weight is evenly distributed between the toes and the heels. Great golf swings, repeatable, efficient golf swings always start from a really good setup, so it's key that we do that correctly. Second exercise, we're going to get rid of the golf club again. And you're going to need some sort of towel. I would advise that you use a cleaner one than this, but this is going to do because it's the one that's on my golf bag. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to sort of fold it in half, and I'm going to hold it together like this. Now I'm going to take my new perfect address to the golf ball. And this little exercise is really just to get an understanding of a really nice backswing shape. You know, we know that we want to be rotating our body on an angle because we set that angle at address. We want to be maintaining some of those angles, and we want to have a nice shape to our golf swing where the hands move upwards and inwards. Every single golfer on the planet who's played this game at a high level moves the hands and the club upwards and inwards. So here's a little exercise. You take the towel, you hold it as best as you can like a golf club, and you're going to make a backswing motion where you stop at the top of your backswing and the towel should fall and land on your trail shoulder. So for me, that's obviously my right shoulder. So as I demonstrate that now for you, and you can see how the towel hit me on my shoulder. Do that again. Towel on the shoulder. Towel on the shoulder. Now with any look, that looks relatively simple, and for me, it actually feels relatively simple, but it's a great way to just learn a pretty good backswing shape, because what would happen if you didn't turn your body and the arms then upwards? Well, again, the towel wouldn't hit my shoulder. Some of you may over-rotate too much early on, and then you struggle to get the towel high enough. So there's lots of sort of movements that you can make which wouldn't get that towel to hit the shoulder. But the correct movement where we rotate on a good angle and we have the right amount of arm lift is always going to get that towel hitting your shoulder. And if I stop at the top with any luck, that should look like a pretty decent backswing position. That's going to be much easier if you've done the first part correct. If you're standing to the ball nicely, this should start to feel really easy. So at that point, we're in a really good position. We've created some good angles at address, we've made a really good backswing shape. Got to swing down towards the golf ball. This is our next little exercise. Now for this, you're going to need some sort of reference point. So I'm going to use an alignment stick, and I'm going to use that alignment stick to represent sort of my target line, so down towards where I'm trying to head, which is down the middle of this fairway. Now for this little exercise, I've got myself this hollow tube. You're not going to have this, it's quite specific, but you can get something quite similar. You can take a water bottle, cut the bottom off. All we need really is something that's going to hold the golf ball like this. So I'll place the golf ball in there. And this little exercise is really working on the shape of our downswing and delivering the hands and the club, although we don't have the club, pretty much down towards the golf ball in the right way. So here's what we do. We take this little device here and we would hold it as if it was like a golf club, but obviously the ball would fall out there. So we're just going to create a situation where the ball would stay in place, and we're going to take our good posture and make our backswing that we've just rehearsed. As we do that, as you can see, that the golf ball would fall into this bottom of this little device. Now, if I make a strange swing shape, and unfortunately many of you will have these kind of swing movements that we don't really want, when this ball comes out of the tube, it wouldn't hit the target line. So let's go through the kind of typical over the top, out to win slicer type pattern. They'd go up to the top and they'd often spin out, throw the club early, and you can see that the ball kind of shot all the way over there. It's probably even out of shot now, so let me just grab that back. So the poor move there was really highlighted by that. If we do the same little exercise, but this time I make the opposite move, maybe I early extend, again, the golf ball hit me somewhere down by my feet, not on the target line. The target line is our goal. So I'm going to do this fairly slow to begin with, but as I make my backswing and I start to make my downswing and the shape is good, when I start to release the hands down, you can see how the ball would sort of land much closer to that target line. Really simple exercise, and these, well, all of these exercises so far are great to do at home in your garden. You know, it's winter for many of you. The golf courses aren't particularly appealing to go and play. This is a great time to, you know, get some really good work done on the basics of your golf swing. So posture, backswing, work it down. That one actually landed on the stick, so we know that was pretty good. But really good to get a good feel of a shape of downswing. If we get the right shape of downswing, we're going to get the club traveling about at our target, and that's really key for straight shots. So the final little exercise, and this is really key for, you know, keeping the golf swing fairly simple. It is a golf swing. It's not multiple different positions put together, it's one motion. As soon as that club moves away from the ball, it never stops. It's got to have some flow, it's got to have some rhythm to it. So the final little exercise is just very much to think about where you finish your golf swing. I want you to finish your golf swing with 3 really key checkpoints. Weight on the lead leg, whole body facing the target, club resting on the shoulders. What would that look like? It would look like this. All the weight's on my lead leg, my whole body's facing the target, and the club is resting on my lead shoulder. Those 3 things are really important, because very often the golfers that I see who are overcomplicating things, they never ever have any concept or ideas post impact. Everything's about setup and backswing and delivering contact. And very often we see these swings where they'll kind of get focused on the golf ball. So we have to be making swings where we're thinking about where we would want to be at the end. If I can do that, I've got some really key components of a great golf swing. I've got posture, which is excellent. I've got the hands moving into a nice position at the top of the backswing. I've got the downswing shape as I want, and I've got a really nice full finish, which shows me that I'm committed and I've got great rhythm. So if we put all those together, there's my posture. And there's my swing. A little right to target, but it was well struck, pretty functional. That would work on the golf course. So that's keeping the golf swing really simple. We've kind of covered everything from setup all the way through to the follow through. Some simple ideas, some practical ideas, work on it at home, work on it at the office, working at the driving range. The golf swing will start to become more simple, And it wouldn't surprise me if you start to get some really great results from those drills as well. Thanks for watching. Hopefully we'll see you back here again soon for another video.